Now let's understand data types in Python. Data types in Python are characterized into various categories depending on the actual structure that they have. Like numeric data types are categorized into three types, which are integer for holding the integer values, float for holding those values which are real numbers with decimals, and complex for the actual complex numbers in mathematics. When we talk about the first data type, which is an integer data type, the integer data type has no size limit in Python. The only thing which it is limited by is the available memory in your computer system. Unlike C programming, we were having certain range for integer data type. The integer data type uses arbitrary precision method. So what it actually does is breaks down the large number into small chunks and stores them in a memory-like structure. So whenever an integer is declared in Python, we assign the value to variable. Let's say if I'm having a variable, so this is a value which I have assigned to the variable. So how does this value actually look inside a memory is it is divided into various chunks, and each chunk has equal amount of numbers within itself. So that's how is the memory representation of integer data type in Python. If we talk about the addition of these chunks, so the normal addition takes place chunk by chunk. Each digit in the chunk is added as if the manual addition takes place. And when we talk about the multiplication, if there are small number of integers, the multiplication step is simple. Whereas for the large number of integers, there are several algorithms, several advanced level algorithms are used to multiply these digits. So this addition is basically handled by CPython, and the concept over here is dynamic memory allocation. How Python allocates memory to each and every chunk which is divided. So that's it for the integer data type. What you need to remember is there is no size limit for integer data type in Python. It consists of unlimited size. Size is only limited only by the available memory within your computer system. It uses arbitrary precision method. Addition takes place chunk by chunk through normal addition. For multiplication, if we are having small and simple terms, the multiplication is simple. But for large number of terms, several algorithms are used. So that's it for the integer data type. I hope this is clear. Moving to the next data type, which is the float data type in Python. The float data type represents real number with decimals. Here there is the rule of 64 bits because the float data type in Python follows the double precision format, where each and every floating point digit carries 64 bit of memory size, and that 64 bit is divided into three different parts: signed, exponent, and mantissa. We were not having any range for the integer data type in Python, but we do have a specific range for the float data type. 1 exponent -308 to 1 exponent 308. There also exists a formula in floating point which actually represents the memory structure of floating point digits in Python. So this was all about the float data type in Python. If we talk about the difference between integer data type and float data type, integer doesn't have any size limit or any range specific restrictions. It's unlimited by size. Only your system available memory makes it limited. Integer data type uses arbitrary precision method, whereas float uses double precision format, and float data type also has specific range below or above which if we try to define floating point integers, it either raises infinity or goes to an underflow condition. For integer data type, there is no such specific formula representation, but for floating data type, we do have kind of formula representation. So that's what you need to remember about the integer data type and floating point data type. Moving towards the next data type, we have the complex data type. We all have studied complex numbers in mathematics, isn't it? But how do we actually define a complex number? Let's say if I have a variable x which holds a complex value. A complex number is basically categorized into two parts, real part and imaginary part. Yes, the a is the real part over here, and here we have this bi, which is completely an imaginary part. However, in Python, instead of I, we use j for representing the imaginary part. So this is nothing but an imaginary part in Python. There are multiple ways of creating complex number. One which I have already explained is just creating a variable and assigning it with a specific value. A and B are the variables over here, and we can assign them with some values, let's say. So this is a complex number x which I have redefined and which has a real part as 5 and imaginary part as 9. Apart from this, there is another method of creating complex number by using the complex function, which is an inbuilt function in Python. The complex function in Python takes two parameters, the real part as well as the imaginary part. The value of j is minus root 1. If we talk about the range of complex numbers in Python, it follows the same rule as for the floating point data type in Python. But there is a nuance between both of these values. The complex function in Python takes two parameters, real and imaginary. First number is the real number and second one is the imaginary number, with which it adds the imaginary part, which is j. So as we have seen, the two numbers within a complex number, real has its own range and imaginary part has its own range. So if we talk about the range limit, they actually follow the ranges which a float data type possess. So the real number will itself have its own starting and ending range, and imaginary number within itself will have its own starting and ending range. We can easily conclude over here that how does overflow and underflow condition actually happens. It totally depends on the float range which was there already defined. If the real number exceeds the range, one which is defined under the float data type, then it shows infinity condition. Whereas if the range is very less and not even enters into the expected category of range, then it shows the underflow condition. Same goes with the imaginary part as well. Imaginary part also has its own starting and ending range, and it follows the same range as of the float data type. When it comes to accessing these complex numbers, we can simply access them by using the real and imaginary attributes in Python. These are used to access the individual components of a complex number. These will work if you have declared your complex number and defined it using the complex function, which is an inbuilt function in Python. If we talk about the integer and float data type, these attributes exist in those contexts as well. However, there is no such concept of a complex number within integer and floating data types. Therefore, for these attributes, for the real attribute, both of these data types returns the number itself, and for the imaginary attribute, it always returns 0. If we talk about the operations that we can perform on complex numbers, then we have several certain operations like finding the conjugate of complex number. We can also find the absolute value of those numbers and their magnitude as well. One more important fact that you need to keep in your mind, exam point of view, is that comparison of complex numbers is always based on certain aspect, and these numbers are not actually compared directly. We can compare two complex numbers based on some of the aspects which we have the exact value of, like we have the original value of conjugates of two complex numbers or their absolute value. So the comparison always happens between these values and not the actual complex numbers. By now, we have seen the integer data type and its specialities, the float data type and its specialities, as well as the complex data types and its specialities. All of these concepts which I have shared are very important exam point of view, as well as if you want to have basic knowledge of Python. In the next video, we are going to see the category of sequence data types, where we have string data type, list, and tuple. If you really find this video helpful, subscribe for more.